Hello, and this is Spotlight, not live on Grapple Patreon, on Grapple YouTube. Everywhere else you can get Grapple is where we are tonight. I'm Benno.
And I'm Matty.
It's a pre-recorded one for people, Matty. I think they've had enough of us this last week or so.
Mate.
I think in the literal sense too, and the figurative sense, literally had enough of us. Don't worry, I'm going on holiday in a couple of weeks, so it'll be fine. But yeah, put a lot of content out this week, Matty. But we couldn't let another day go by without obviously getting you on here to get your AW all out thoughts. Sorry, I made that joke with
I did watch
I'll go
that,
through the whole rigmarole again. But good to have you, mate. Good to be here on YouTube.
Yeah, well, and also, I did watch the end bit as well. And, where you cracked the joke over, Gareth didn't watch WWE. I genuinely did go to watch All Out, though. I told you this, I genuinely did. And there was just too many people on the Triller account, Ben. So what can I do about that, mate? I tried.
It's one of them. Gareth paid for it, and I'm like I'm the freeloader out here, so I guess you with third string there. I mean, obviously, there's been no days in the middle that you could have possibly watched it, though. At
no
any point.
Definitely not.
Not throwing it on now.
Not 7 hours, Ben. I've got 7 hours spare, mate. No chance. No chance.
You got to spend them doing YouTube videos, mate. You got to make that time useful. You've been big cracking out. You even messaged me yesterday, so you might throw a couple of bonus ones in there. Hopefully, people have been enjoying them. Throwing what did you tell me the catchphrase is now? Throwing the likes, comments, and
no. It's like, hype, and subscribe.
There you go. Like, hype, and subscribe. There you go.
With them guys now, Ben. We've turned into them guys now, which I'm happy with.
If we could tell people to do one, what would it be? Because I don't have the button for hype, so I reckon I like likes. Likes are good. Comments are good though too as well. That helpful.
Subscribe,
even when they're giving me grief. I'm getting more grief than you currently on the YouTube, mate. That's what happens.
That's what I love. And that's deserved, Ben, as well.
Unless it's you under pseudonyms trying to defend the honor of your boy Adam Copeland.
No, it's not. But I'd say subscribe's the most important, man. If I had to pick out the three, it's obviously growing. Not for our video, it's growing the whole channel. That's what we're all about here on the YouTube. So, as I say, we're finally giving it a go. And as I say, hope everyone has been enjoying the videos and just be consistent, Ben. I just thought to myself a little idea for the weekend and a couple of weeks to the next PLE. So, yeah, we'll trial some things out, mate. Definitely.
Tell me about it. A couple of weeks to the next PLE. I'm glad I'm off on that one. I'm away. Only a couple of weeks to the next AW pay-per-view as well. But
this goes into some of the booking and creativity stuff that I'm sure we're going to get into as well, mate. Fucking hell.
Well, on that note, before we get into all that, obviously it is Dealer's Choice Month going on, Matty. Got to throw the plugs in. Got to pay the bills, as Gabe Sapolsky once said. As my drink appears to be dripping, I'll just fix that. But yes, we got Dealer's Choice going on. We just had JP's The Wrestler Film Club going on. We obviously had already had your ones top of the month, Survivor Series 2002. We had Gareth's Ric Flair show, and then we got my Punk one coming up that I've just slipped the homework out to you, mate. I'm sure you've made that a head start on all that.
Oh, mate, get a head start on it tonight, and it's a bit of everything this month, as usual on Dealer's Choice. As you say, I thought JP done a really good job. Mickey Rourke performance excellent from JP, I'd say. He really held it together. It was a great show that I enjoyed, as you said, Ben. Bit emotional, weren't it, getting there to see the old Randy the Ram Robinson. But it was, mate. But it was very enjoyable going into the other stuff surrounding the film as well. As I started it off. Survivor Series 2002, good flashback there, bit of nostalgia, and Gareth with even more nostalgia with Ric Flair. But as you say, you finally finish it off with only a pick that you can pick, Ben, in old Phil. One Bill Phil. You've officially titled it, haven't you, as well?
Got to go with that. I don't like it though. Like currently, Notion's not working great, so you can't see the image as I share the screen here. But I went with a couple of Collision era Punk images, and they just make me a bit sad. Even the One Bill Phil phrasing makes me a bit sad. Maybe I'll change the title of this mixtape / deep cut / CM Punk.
Can I always say as well? Sorry, you've turned into you're like the monster that I created. Ben, you took it to a whole new level with these playlists now, mate. I started it off. I definitely did.
It was Steve. That's what did it to us all, and then Sean and took it on. But I would say with this one, it's one of those one name ones to me. It's not a mixtape. It's not a deep cut. But I've tried to be good to you. I've tried to rein myself in as far as going through Punk history. To be honest, half of it was just me feeling jealous because you got to do that one with Platt going through Punk's highlights in WWE before it all crashed and burned as well. So I would have completed the story, and I want to do Boot Punk in AEW because me and Gareth were watching talking about the promo from Brawl Out. That is included in here as well. Like I've tried to include the Rampage debut, obviously that's in there as must watch. the Darby Allin match, obviously, to kick us off as well. But looking forward to watching that one back. I saw that at like a watch party, and I don't think I've ever actually sat down and rewatched that one back. So that'll be fun. The Punk and Eddie Kingston match is, to me, in a lot of ways, the peak of AEW, but I always feel like the promo segment between the two of them is also like a promo peak of AEW for me. I don't think it got much better than that, at least for me, with two of my favorites going back and forth. Saying that, the MJF stuff, obviously, I've got in there, because there was a lot of good promo back and forth with them. The 6-man with Sting, of course, made it in, mate. And obviously,
the face paint.
Yeah, well, we have to stop there for a little while, go through some of the MJF angles, the beatdown of Punk leading into the dog collar match in there. Dustin Rhodes in there for the sickos. Might as well just put James's name there next to that one, but I had
Bit
to
of H
include
Steel
that.
in there, Ben.
What's that, sorry?
Bit of H Steel in here, isn't
Oh, you know what? I didn't think of that. You know, the angle. He still appeared on telly, didn't he? All right, that's going in as sickos. There you go. There's one added. Workers' Rights promo, bit of Colt Cabana in there. There you go. Full Second City Saints, and obviously the Hangman Page match, which again, that's another one. I don't think I ever reviewed it on Spotlight fully because me and Steph were at it, and like obviously I think JP and Gareth must have done Spotlight that weekend. We talked about our live experience, but I don't think I've ever reviewed the match, so excited to do that. The two Moxley matches, I should have switched them round. I should have made the must watch the one where he beats him in about 10 seconds. I think you'll very much enjoy that more than you'll enjoy the 25-minute pay-per-view match, but we'll see. And then obviously the Brawl Out presser, and then it's go home via Collision with the one Bill Phil promo, and obviously I've thrown in the Kojima match and the Joe match for the sickos, but he's done at that point. And just for you, Matty, I've included Tony Khan announcing he's
thank you.
Punk has been sacked from AEW, just so you can laugh at Tony Khan's face during that moment. As I know you did live, and I know you did today when I sent you the screenshot.
Is that when he feared for his life, Ben? Is that when that was? Yeah.
Apparently, that's what he said. Yeah, I wanted to include, to be honest, like the footage of like the Jack Perry stuff, but it's scarce. It's not on YouTube, but it literally is 30 seconds. Like maybe we could do a scene-by-scene breakdown. Maybe I could play it live rather than make it part of the playlist, don't we? Yeah, when we talk it all, but it could be fun.
Mate, he's definitely took that down by now, hasn't he? For sure. It should never aired on national telly, but it is what it is. But I'm really looking forward, Ben, to going back, as I say, seeing all this. And it's like, what, 3-4 years old? And as you say, like I hear Gareth say as well, it'd just be like genuinely seeing, like, obviously
stuff in it.
Core of the characters are still there in AEW, Kingston's, your MJFs, but it's seeing how they look, the fans, like in the arenas, genuinely everything about it, the excitement. We'll see all that, and really looking forward to going in. And if anything, Ben, I think we've only got about 2 chapters of fucking Phil's whole career that we haven't covered now on Grapple. So the Jeff Hardy one's in the back pocket.
That is my plan. Yeah.
He's nearly, literally done it all.
You underestimate me, mate. There's Punk and Raven. There's the Second City Saints. We could do a whole show on that. There's little bits in there. Punk on the Indies we could cover.
But
there's
any
a PCO
wrestler
match I had on DVD from 2005. We could cover. It's all there.
He's way ahead of any wrestler for sure, though. For sure on Grapple.
There you go. That's my doing, and obviously I add another chapter to it there. So yeah, if you fancy that, patreon.com/grapple, or right here on YouTube, as much as we're doing our call to action thing, you can become a member on here for the low price of 99p and up. Like I say, just join us live for spotlights when they are live, weekend show, and all of our other stuff as well. But yeah, we'll be doing that on Monday. Be a special day for the patrons with you and Gareth away this weekend. So the patrons have got that to look forward to. But without further ado, Matty, should get into it. We are here to talk WWE WrestlePalooza. I'm trying to jazz myself up. I'm trying to get excited about it. This podcast might be done in 15 minutes, mate.
Could be, man. Yeah.
It was a show that existed. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. A professional wrestling pay-per-view happened with professional wrestling matches. Is that the old line? Yeah. How are you feeling a couple of days removed from it now?
No, you know what, mate? Like, usually I'd be like shaking my head as if, like, for fuck's sake, but you could say that.
Would you?
It rains through, Ben. It does. And like I've sat on it more, obviously I had my reaction video out there, and most of me takes are probably the same. But when you sink in I'd say 48 hours later after I'd done that video, it was just there, and I was just expecting a lot more. It was just a bit flat, just devoid of ideas.
Did you write the ESPN review?
Mate, have seen that, and I was shocked. And as Gareth said, I think they'll have a new writer next time, but it's getting an A no matter what the fucking show is next time for sure. Like the change in that
stuff on it.
Oh, I'm telling you, but
not allowed in the private jet.
It is. It was just flat, and especially in a few of the matches, I was expecting like more story. What WWE give you on these like PLEs, especially a first one on a new platform, but they just played it too safe. I think I said Tuesday played up to that, sports crowd, obviously with Brock Lesnar and such, and having Cody at the end. And, the reports have come out, haven't they, in the last couple of days that, Cody and Drew McIntyre both pitched that Randy Orton cost Cody the title. And apparently on the day John Cena was meant to beat Brock Lesnar, it just all went the other way, didn't it, by Showtime? Yeah. So there's a lot to it, mate. It's weird.
It feels like EWR Auto Booker or TW Auto Booker, or when you play a game of Champman back in the day. I was never a football manager guy. I was always a Champman guy back in the day. But you do like the whole go on holiday for a season thing just to see what happens. Feels like Triple H is on his holidays right now and he's just seeing what happens. It is. Like it's so autopilot right now. Like I'm surprised the way you say that, but like that's exactly what it is. Like literally. You name those two things there, like they could have happened on the show, or at least they would have been things that happened. Like especially, obviously, Cody and Drew. I don't know 100% how I feel about putting the belt on Drew, but it's an idea. It's something that you can. It's something that feels like the wrestlers to me recognizing that we need something to spark some life into this. 100%. Because like I can't help but compare and contrast. Obviously, talking Wrestle Dream yesterday with Gareth, because like I think the close to both of these shows is very similar in that like. Hangman Page just beats Kyle Fletcher and that's the end of it and we're done. And like there was no big like moments at the end of it. And the same here, Cody Rhodes wins, end of the show, we're done. But I think the difference in what the two shows achieved is massively stark. And that's not to say AEW doesn't have its issues. I'm sure you heard me say yesterday on my reaction video, like there's an investment problem in AEW as far as up and down that card. Like the crowd were crap, but I think there were reasons why the card was they were crap, and there were reasons why the build to a few of the matches were crap. A lot of Tony Khan's spreadsheet booking does come back to haunt sometimes, where it feels important to him, but he's not expressed that through his booking. Like that was listed through the card. It wasn't a show without its problems, but what it did achieve in the main event is like Hangman Page putting Kyle Fletcher over without putting him over, because AEW as the work rate company, like them going out there and having the great match was kind of enough, I think, for the AEW hardcores and people like me. It was like, okay, we got our money's worth. We saw Kyle Fletcher be elevated, even if there wasn't an exciting moment at the end of the pay-per-view, and it achieved so much in that. And Hangman Page, as we talked about, like he's my headline coming out of it, like what a selfless job he did on that show as well. These show, you can't rest on those laurels. They aren't built like that. You're not, as much as I can joke about it, Cody and Drew is gonna have an upper limit, isn't it? And this wasn't even at the upper limit as far as like main event matches go. Well. So you can't rely on that either, can you? Can't go, yeah, but they had a great match. It's not really that company, is it? You almost need those exciting incidents 100%. When you're with WWE, and they've been giving you them like for the last couple of years, those moments that we joke about, like sometimes they feel small scale, but people who are into WWE are so invested into them that they are big, they make a lot out of a little. A lot of time that's been the success of Triple H's booking over the last couple of years, but we're not even getting a little at this point. And yeah, that's the tale of the two companies, I think, coming out of this pay-per-view weekend.
But that's what it is, Ben. I want to be, and no pun intended, I want to be fed all this. I want these moments, as you say. If anything at the end, even a stare down or a cost them by mistake, just something, give me something that I can go, right, I'm going to watch into Raw. And I know they've done the thing with Seth Rollins on the post show, which is bleeding into, obviously, the crown jewel. I know, but this is what I'm saying. I know, but this is what...
shit in it. Oh, that is... the crown jewel belt again. Like, it's so lazy. But that's so uninteresting. Again, Ben, that's shite for that. But I don't know, no one's a Seth Rollins like fan at the minute, but I do like the fact of Kevin Sody, Seth and Cody getting on the air, getting fucking too excited here. So I like to drink quick. It is my 7-Eleven cup has broken, so that's just me warning to you.
But that is like, that's got the inbuilt story, whether people like the characters or not. That's got all the Shield stuff from WrestleMania 40 and helping them win when Cody first come back. So into that, you can make that be bigger than it is for this crown jewel belt. It doesn't need that. No, I think they will, because the story's inbuilt, Ben. Inbuilt. I'm all down for it. It's just dragged down by that shit belt. I agree with you on that. I'm into that.
I watched the Raw promo. It felt like a rerun to me. It felt extremely uninspired. Like, I think on the one hand, whatever we think of it, and think pretty low of it, having this whole Crown Jewel Championship thing is fucking lame as fuck. But at least they recognise that's something they wouldn't do years past. When they just invent something else and pretend that never happened. At least they're leaning on their own history of the event, whatever we think of the history of the event. But that's the only positive I can think of. The rest of it just felt like paint by numbers. It feels uninspired. It feels like, well, Crown Jewel's coming up, we can do that. That'll kill another month. Seth and Cody can cut the same promos. They always cut about each other, and then we'll move on. Like, they're almost, it's like it's WWE's Forbidden Door period. It's WWE's period where it's like, oh, well, we got an exhibition match for the world title. Anyway, let's think about January. If they're even thinking about January, which is a point
Ben,
you've often made.
it's been the Forbidden Door fucking era since fucking May, mate. It's been, feels like, honestly, there's been, if you map it out, I think the longest gap was in August, where there was 4 weeks. There's always been a big PLA or a big show, like a Saturday night's main event, sandwiched in between every 2 and 3 weeks.
Yeah.
There's too much, and that goes against Triple H's philosophy, though, doesn't it? Usually he books it out and spreads it out. Him having to book differently to fill all these shows has affected his snail pace booking. It's weird. It's just, it's gone. And he's, as you say, he's just, his eyes off the game, whether it be in getting all these new deals done or what. The creativity's gone. And I know you might have thought it was there in the first place, but for us,
no,
Diaz, but it was layered. What you mean by the word layered? We might differ, but it was. You had to watch. I don't have to watch Ben now. We cracked the jokes about that. If I miss SmackDown, I'm not missing much anymore. I genuinely would miss 2 backstages, even if it was a little glance or a little thing. And all right, there was a couple on Raw that they'll always have me though, Ben. That fish will always be in that mouth. When Jey Uso was looking at Cody's WWE title, like Batista did at Triple H's. No, I'm going to love that.
If they pulled the trigger on that, wouldn't it? Like it'd be something.
It might go against everything that it stands for, as in like he's one of your biggest baby faces and you're over. But it's following his arc, which I'll always be into about the Roman stuff and whatever. We can argue about that in a couple of shows' time if it does happen.
Yeah.
But at least there's something there with that.
Exciting, wouldn't it?
It'll keep me hooked like that.
Cena trying to call AJ out, like on his Twitter. Like I'm sure the company has signed off on it at this point. But it does feel like Cena pushing it through, going, "Now I want to do something that people are actually interested in." Like,
no, there was no. We had this before Brock even come back. Yeah. Who was it going to be? There was fucking nobody. They ran through them. They botched it so much. It's just, it's remarkable, really. How much they botched it. It's remarkable. It is.
It's like the Netflix era as well, isn't it? It obviously all fits together. But like, I think there was I think they're just again resting on the laurels, and like, I almost think like, and they didn't really do this the last couple of years. Like I say, I think I was higher than some would be on like the WWE product over the last couple of years. But I think when they were on TV, you could rely on the fact that like the TV rating was always going to do what the TV rating did, and it was always going to be top whatever on cable. Even if it was down, it was still not as down as the rest of TV, because you could rely on people who just happen to have the telly on, or people just on a Monday. That's where they put they just flip the channel and they throw it on. I always feel like the Netflix area is exposing that a little bit, and that like you can't wrestling so you actually I think you more need to give people a reason to go onto Netflix and find Raw and watch it. Like, and I think we'll find them when you see those Netflix numbers that like there isn't really that reason to do it, is there? There isn't. Maybe the idea of like just, you know, Hannah, I understand the irony of this, throwing content upon content upon content to people is like, well, you don't have to watch it all, which is kind of what we've been saying behind the scenes when it comes to the reaction videos and stuff. But like it's a UFC argument, isn't it? You don't have to watch it all, but like UFC fans, you know, over years, like by doing that, they made everything just feel lesser and lesser to the point where people caught on. And I think, with WWE, like I feel like that's a better play when you've got like say Raw on proper telly, and I know they've still got SmackDown there as well, but it's just it's so bad right now that like that's not holding people's attention either. And before you know it, people get out of these habits, don't they? People get out of the habits of watching this stuff and realizing, cotton on that okay, only the important stuff happens at the pay-per-view. And now, to be honest, does even the important stuff happen at the pay-per-view? Like, not really. You know, everything's
not an important
slow
element.
motion.
That's the thing. And the things that Triple H is thinking is important, it's not really. And I know it's still getting popped.
What was he on about? He did the Tony Khan there, didn't he? Proper overselling this thing.
Yeah,
something big was going to happen.
And this is the thing, Ben, and I'm not turning it to you because I never want that, and I'm sure you never want that either. But it's like, you're right. I'm even saying it. I'm saying it myself about WWE, thinking we're still getting pops in the buildings, and I'm like, and it is, and it's like, but it's just weird, Ben. I can't really explain what's going on. You're it in the right terms. He's resting on those laurels, you know, stuff like that. It's like, right, here's the big stars. They're going to get you through it by just being the big stars. No, we need more than this.
Yeah.
As an entrance guy, as a promo guy, as a story guy, I still need a bit more to it than that. There's a reason why I like them. It can't just be what it says in the tin. You need something to go with them things. You know what I mean? You need these captivating characters, and it hasn't got any at the minute. Jey Uso's probably still the only one that you can really hang that to. And
that's just you love a Jey Uso, mate.
Yeah, I don't know there you go. That's what I mean.
To be honest with him, like, and again, that's the type of thing a knobhead like me, you know, to put your head to job about, or a Gareth, or you know, those of us who are more negative on WWE, you know, than positive would be that they'll lap up any hard shit, won't they? Which was probably true to an extent, but it wasn't as true as maybe we would say, you know, because like you say, there was, I think we got to that point, didn't we? In like the boom or whatever you call it of Triple H's book, and that like, no, they're super saving was the word we kept using. They are super saving. The people who like this, even if we think it's muck, they're super saving them. And like at this point, they're not even doing that. They're like they're taking they seem to have the attitude I think us WWE haters had over the last 18 months, like they'll fucking accept anything, and they're taking that to its absolute limit. Like they're pushing the limits of what will be acceptable and how little they can possibly do. And I don't know what's behind it, honestly. Like you say, Triple H is busy doing other stuff, but doing what? Like his job is this is his job.
Should be,
putting his wife in the fucking Hall of Fame, I guess. It feels like somebody said that it's like a Premier League manager just getting shit in before he gets sacked. You know, he's put that out there now. It's official now. So even if they sack him before Christmas, they've got to do it next year for the Hall of Fame. Like I don't think we're that far removed from that. Like I wonder if that I don't think that ESPN again write up was a hit piece, because again the person who writes that review is not the person in charge of ESPN. But if that attitude seeps in, it might take something like that to get account attention, or get a Rock over get a Rock and Brian Goertz in to work their magic and work him. Like, do you think it's out of the realm of possibility that happens before WrestleMania next year? Like, say we're doing the end of year show and we're doing likely unlikely. Triple H is still the booker in. I'll give you a long window, 18 months. Like, is it likely?
That's more likely. That's more likely that he couldn't beat them before WrestleMania. I think when Rock gets all this Oscar stuff out the way, but you don't know, he might once he claims, if he does get the Oscar, it could go either way. It could be like, right, I've achieved it now and come back to wrestling, or it could be fuck wrestling off forever. I'm in that world even more so now and getting accepted. He's done well. We'll go on about The Rock in a bit, because he's played that fucking unbelievably with being in that Scorsese film as well. I think that comes out just before the Oscars, so he's playing it very well. Smart man, isn't he? Yeah, but it's not against it. If he carries on like this, Ben, then no, 18 months could be genuinely. If he carries on, if he doesn't get that spark back, I'm genuinely. But can he get it back? That's the thing. Bookers only do have shelf lives, like genuinely do. And you say that about Triple H, Ben. What is he doing? And maybe he's not doing everything behind the scenes, but he is spreading himself too thin. And I'm not. You think of his condition. Like, I know people don't like him, but you think of that condition, right? No, genuinely. But he's still at every fucking Triple H show. Why is he there? If Shawn Michaels and Undertaker are behind it, let them do it. Why has he got to be there? He's got to be at everything. I know he's the face of the company, the Dana White of WWE, whatever you want to call him. But fucking hell,
he's Woody for his job.
That's why he could be, yeah. But honestly, Ben, I can't stress enough. The creativity's just gone there. And even you were on it months back. But once again, I thought it was just you being you. Once again, no offense, but it was like, the more you think about it, it's like, no, but Ben, I'm passionate tonight. I am, because I need to try and get this out of me. Because it's like, since I think everyone's pinpointed this since the Netflix, that shit the bed, that debut it did. There are big matches on, even from The Rock, like kayfabe with Cody and breaking it. Terrible. Just absolutely fucking awful. And since then, it hasn't recovered. And slowly as I've got on, I kept myself up. Right, I'm going to my first WrestleMania. And all right, overall in the grand scheme of it weren't the greatest WrestleMania. I used my thing of it, like the Blueprint 2, condensed the 2 nights into one card. It was good, and there was some great matches on it. There was, and I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I'd still have a great time next year regardless. That's me. But it's worn me down even more so, Ben, throughout the year. I can't. Like, I'm clinging on to everything. I think I said on it before SummerSlam. Like, I'll always cling on, and there'll always be some characters that I'll be into. But they're getting, where's Jacob Fatu? I agree with you. And I know I said the other day, they're getting him out of this bloodline first, but Jesus Christ, you need him on telly. Get him back on TV to give it something. There's so many characters, I can say this about at the minute, that feel a lesser than. Even like Tiffany Stratton was hot as the champion. She doesn't feel anything special anymore. Everyone's feeling less over, but is it me? Because they're still getting reactions in the building. It's weird, Ben. I can't fully translate what I want to say. It's just a weird time for me. Weird.
Yeah. And that, to go back to the Triple H thing, like people are going to roll their eyes at that and say there's no chance, but I think it's because, again, using the football analogy, we grew up in like the first division era, or we grew up in a world of Arsene Wenger's and David Moyes and Alex Ferguson's. Like, Vince McMahon was never fucking getting sacked, was he, from the position? Tony Khan on the AW side's never getting sacked from the position. You don't ever see Ghetto's not moved on in such a long time. But like those like older fans who don't like, you just haven't lived through it, and then all of a sudden the world changes, and the world has changed for the WWE, and it's not. I honestly don't think it's out the realm of possibility anymore that they look at results and just go, no, we'll find something else.
The only reason I'll say he won't is if it was from a creative point of view, he's two losses away from getting the sack. If it's a football analogy for me, he's two home losses away getting sacked. But I think whilst he's bringing these deals in, or he's seen as the figurehead, bringing these new mergers in and deals and still selling out and highest grossing, but you don't hear him even saying that all the time anymore, Ben. He'd lead every fucking post presser with that. You haven't heard him say that for ages. You haven't. Yeah. I haven't. He used to hammer that home too much, and that's why they're going overseas, and it's a strategy, and I get all that. But ultimately, because of all this, the creativity which he did have, and I'll always say was great, it's gone. It's completely fucking gone. And and that's where it comes. Money and attendance over the end of the day. Ultimately, he's going to come over that, and it is sad because he had the perfect balance of both. He genuinely did. He did.
That's the way with it. And I mean, I did see like some positive like talk on Raw last night. Some thinking that like they're getting some like things instead, like you said there, like with what you enjoyed from Raw last night. But outside of that, like, yeah, what is there like? What is there to kind of hang your hat on? What are the signs of like positivity? Like, is there anything coming out of the pay-per-view or anything coming out of Raw that you could say, okay,
Raw more than the pay-per-view?
Something I can jump on.
Pay-per-view's like a fucking end of the season, whatever. And that was meant to be the start of the season. It was mad.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, obviously, there's three things there. The Cody and Seth, I'm into because of the backstory, and I think the match will deliver, and that probably will follow on. I'm into that. Jey Uso, I'll always be into, and I'm liking this. And I'm thinking he might actually turn heel, and then it'll end up Roman coming back to say, like, you're turning into me, which is obviously what is going to happen. If it does happen, he's turning into Roman. I'm all into that. Yeah, so there's a couple of things there, and the Cena and AJ, that should happen as well. So I get that. But once again, apart from the Jey stuff and Cody, to an extent, it's not really long term still, is it? That Cena, because Cena's not going to be there. It's another one-off moment, which should happen, in this retirement run. But if I'm looking to the Rumble, Ben, and Mania, which, once again, we always are September, October times, and Triple H was good at that in the first few years he was there. What the fuck is he, mate? Genuinely, I can't tell you. Brock Lesnar's going to be there, I know that. Fucking hell. And you've announced that. That's it. And, Cody's possibly going to... Cody and Orton. But how long have we waited for that, Ben? This is what I'm saying.
It's already happened. We waited so long, it's already happened.
But I get what, it was in a file and you could have played into it and you can always revisit it.
Yeah, I like the story now.
I like that about Triple H, but then he leaves it too long. It's nuts. I don't know, Ben. I just don't know at the minute. It's crazy. We should be, and even even flip-flopping, going about the last year and that. And I know, once again, I think Seth, like, I know people don't like him at all, especially yourself. He was good in the build to WrestleMania, and he earned that chance for me to be like the number one heel. And the stuff with Becky, I think in isolation is all right. He's that chicken shit behind his wife. I like that. But the stuff with Division beforehand, then that month or so where it was just stomp, rinse, repeat, end and Raw, that was bad, Ben. That's as bad as it gets for creativity. It was really stale. And it's even affecting the Bronze and Bronson Reed, like people saying, oh, him and Seth could be. That won't happen for at least another 3 years, the way he's going. So it's just, I don't know, Ben. I can't think of anything at this point that I think, right, we're building towards that. It just doesn't exist with them no more.
I mean, again, I'm turning into video mode, but tell us in the comments, what are we missing? Or what, if you enjoyed Raw this week, was it that you enjoyed about Raw this week? Because to me, it just feels a little bit like that desperation that I've felt before, like in following AEW. No. This week's Dynamite was good. We're turning it around, and then we're not turning it around. Like, again, you have to work to get that trust back with people, broadly speaking, as well. But we could talk some outcomes to Raw as well. Obviously, interesting conversation, and we'll keep it going like through the show as far as like if there's an answer, to what they can do, or if there's anything you can kind of pinpoint, like as far as this show goes, because this show really wasn't up to much for me. Like I'm glad that I'm on Thai time and I wasn't tempted to try and watch it live, because like fuck me, there were bits of the AEW show that sent me to sleep, and I think the early part of this show would have massively sent me to sleep if I didn't have the ability to just fast forward through again, a thing they seem to take for granted. I don't know, it felt like there was more of that with like the ESPN, like they seem to have moments in the show where they're throwing to adverts for ESPN now, and then like the Netflix feed is a little bit different and stuff. I don't know what's what's
We
going
get
on
like
there. But
music and like a little
yeah,
flashing videos.
it's like the
of
reverse,
wrestlers.
isn't it, of what it was before? So that's a bit weird. But yeah, managed to get through this in like very short amount of time because there isn't much fat on this show, really. Yeah, I know you were a big fan of the intro as far as them trying to sell the
love
SPN
that,
deal
like, yeah.
and how important it was. Again, do that on the show, lads. I think that would probably sell me a little bit more. We had a fan of Pat McAfee returning here for
I like
commentary.
Pat.
It was,
I still like Pat.
this was the Bryan Danielson spot of the WWE.
Yeah. No, I like Pat, and he seems to have toned it down a little bit as well on this. If people like can believe that he did, he's toned it down. He's talking.
He seems
more
to have been paying attention, doesn't he? To like you see him going back and forth with people on Twitter and stuff. Like he knows what people say about him.
He is. He's definitely toned it back a little, and I enjoyed it. And he was only there for the first few matches, wasn't he? He wasn't there for the whole show, which I couldn't believe. He must have had obviously a prior engagement, but yeah, 100%. But yeah, I was glad to see him back. Whether he's sticking around for the foreseeable until something else comes up for him to do. But I like Pat. I do like him.
Well, we started with Brock Lesnar beating John Cena. Yeah, John Cena entered with the load of kids. This is a great quick off point actually for the conversation because I haven't heard you talk about this. Like Paul Heyman announcing Brock Lesnar, like,
yeah,
is this not a bigger part of the problem? But it's like that's very Vince Pill. That's very like forget what you saw before. You know that thing that mattered. You know when we had the whole thing with Roman and we had the whole thing with Heyman leaving Brock again for the second time in his career. I think it would be. I think it's 2. Is it not 3? It's somewhere two. Like that. It's 2. It's 2 total. Like that meant something within the story. Like and like the Cena babyface term, which obviously we'll constantly talking about. It's just like in doing it this way, just to have your moments, just to have like it's that lack of discipline to go like well Heyman and Lesnar like working together. Lesnar clearly wants Paul in his corner. Paul in real life and in wrestling is in Brock's corner, and he wants to be out there. Let's do it. We'll work out the rest later. But like I just think the untold damage decisions like that and like turning Cena babyface, even if again the Cena call was the right call in the end, like you can't say there aren't negatives to just pretend in the last 6 months of your program and doesn't matter. Is this not another example of that for you? Like here, like what they're doing? Like it's yes, everyone likes to see Heyman and Lesnar together if you can stomach watching Lesnar on your telly at this point. But what a fucking slap in the face this was.
That's what I mean. Like that's all down to your taste with Brock Lesnar. But if he is there and you are going to use him, SmackDown was that thing for me where it was like he bumped into him and was like, we should talk. And I thought, all right, if he's staying around, that will play into something. But he got paid off the next night for an introduction. You milked that.
Which tells you they came up with the idea on Friday, probably.
That's it. You turn that into a storyline, which will lead eventually to something happening, to a match. We get you take that once again, even if you can take Brock Lesnar, you take that for what it is. But that was just like, is that all it's going to be now? And then it's done. It's bizarre.
The match itself, just lazy, just like
you
were negative going into it,
like,
and I was surprised how negative you were because you were absolutely correct. Like at this point in their careers, what can they do? And I guess what can you do other than this? That's probably the conversation that probably were backstage, and they all went like, "We're not going to have a great match, are we? So let's just run it back and have Brock smash through Cena." And like you've been saying, like they're not telling a story there with Cena because they haven't got time to tell that story with Cena. Like Cena's, like I say, on Twitter, already onto AJ Styles. So I think we're done there as far as any storytelling goes to it to sell it. And it was almost like a nod to the past, I suppose, and almost an acceptance of we backed ourselves into a corner, lads. What can we do? Well, Brock will smash through me. Like you could imagine Cena making that pitch and everyone just nodding and going along with it. It's like we often say with AEW, don't book the match. Then you didn't have to book this. You didn't have to get in this situation with either wrestler. There are more interesting things a more creative company could be doing with Brock Lesnar if they have to use him, and there's obviously more creative things they could have been doing with John Cena. And yeah, like I don't think it was less than expectations. It was just about our expectations. This, and yeah, it was almost the only thing they could have done in the moment, but that's their fault too.
That's the thing. And say what you want about the heel turn and whatever, and we will, and you will especially. But it's like I always said that the only like positive from the heel turn was just seeing John Cena as that heel. Like you run Cena v Orton back, you run Cena v Punk back, but at least if anything, it's the other side. Cena's the heel in that. How many matches have you seen Orton against Cena? At least he was that to it, Ben, that you could tell something different. Whereas this, you couldn't do anything different other than what we got on the finger. But I thought on my predictions, I thought, well, Cena will get the heroic, he'll take all these F5s, he'll get a sneaky win, or he'll heroically come back and win. No, he just got smashed out the building. you're just adding that, to reheat Brock up for this, using Cena as retirement. And as you say, we haven't even got the appearances where he could play off that and go, right, I'm going to retire early. Someone could come out and go, don't, lead to a match. There's nothing. He's literally, as you say, on Twitter, on Raw, I'm wrestling AJ Styles. There's fuck all to it, mate. Absolutely pointless waste of time. Genuinely.
Is there anything else you can say about the match? Like, that's it, innit? Lesnar, even like Lesnar, like F5 and the ref and stuff, and going back to Cena afterwards, you can see it coming, couldn't you? And again, like, to your point before, it gets a pop, doesn't it, in the building? It's like me learning about Cope on AEW.
It's mad,
People are going to come back and go, it gets a reaction. And I've always made this point, though. It's like, you could bring out Bubba Ray Dudley and Rhino on the right show, and they would get the biggest pop of the night. Do you want to see them on your television every week? I don't think the two things are always the same, are they? It would make it doesn't make a compelling television product just the crowd reacting. Like, I think often the two things are tied in. Often the greatest matches of all time also involve an element of that.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing. Like, it is.
But still, like, it doesn't. One doesn't equal the other, and like that's that will be my take from that. But yeah. There you go.
Bad. A waste of time. Just a waste of time.
Next match, like, you're going to defend it, mate, but this was the most nothing match I think I've ever seen. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus the Usos. I mean, even the LA Knight stuff. I mean, it went somewhere on Raw, to be fair. And obviously, Jimmy wanting to make the save because Jay doesn't want to. And they actually told a bit of story there. I didn't really feel like they told much story here. Outside of them, like, not really wanting to do the DQs. Like, you might as well have not been there. It might as well have been Dan Engler from the opening match. Like, this was what a lot of people accused, matches up and down the WrestlePalooza, AW All Out card of being just matches that could have been on telly. This is a match that could have been on telly.
Yeah, but once again, I get why it was on here, though, Ben. I know Triple H was stacking it up, weren't he? Trying to just put all your stars on there, and it'll get everyone.
And he'd be criticised if he didn't put the bronze on pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, it was the Usos back together after 2 years. I get that, but, it is playing into them, but yet there was just not enough of the LA Knight stuff for me, and at all. He was more babyface alongside Jay even saving him, taking the bullet through the table after he'd done him in on Raw. It was just a bit backward to me. It was just a bit strange. But, and I get, you could always tell that story with Jay. He's always conflicted, etc. But yeah, I thought it was all right. Once it got going, it was all right. Once the LA Knight stuff was out the way, it was sound for me, obviously. But other than that, you got the bronze going over. They'll use that as a springboard on paper to say they beat one of the greatest tag teams, and hopefully they just give them the belts. Now, just call an audible, whatever house show's going on, just fucking give them the tag belts and let's just have them run and rush off for fucking 6 months if you're not going to break them away from Seth. So at least there's that to it. But yeah, I can't really argue outside of that, Ben, that I expected more story shenanigans and didn't get it until Raw.
Even the weapons stuff just felt forced in this one. It just felt a bit like I guess we're doing spots. Like,
90s like special ref stuff, weren't it? Really
proper
TNA stuff, yeah. To be honest,
but without a master plan of how to get out of that and do something with the material. Like, what do you think? Like the Usos as a team, like seeing them come out and make the big entrance and stuff like that. I mean, it does make it quite obvious how much bigger a star your boy Jay is than Jimmy.
Oh yeah, like, I like Big Jim though.
Against type, and as much as like we'll moan about and talk about how Jay's not a great worker and not a great promo and all those things, I think they're all true. He's also massively over and beloved by this fan base on a level that's just so many levels above Jimmy now. Is this just a marriage of convenience to tell whatever story that I'm telling here, or like, what do you think the thinking is behind it? Is it just something to do for a few weeks? Like, is there a master plan here and putting them back together for a bit?
I will say, whether it's Triple H or whoever's getting the credit, I think. And honestly, I'll just say it. Cody maybe as well. Oh, maybe Cody, because Roman's not there all the time, is he? I think other than Cody, I think Jey Uso is the one character that he's actually booked consistently that everything matters with him, Ben. No matter whether you like him or not, he's always on a journey. He always has been, and there's always something coming out of it. You can tell. And that's continuing with this.
The will you won't he with the
you will. Even that. But even throughout his whole, he won the world title. He's not a singles wrestler, so he lost the title quick. There's always a good story. Then Roman come back into the fold and they're equals instead of him being underneath him for the tag match. So there's always that layer that I do believe isn't just, right, what are we doing tonight with Jey? So I think I always will believe that with him. Genuinely,
I'm not sure the good stories. I think
and I'm not saying it's just because I like him. I think it speaks for itself what you're seeing on TV. And Cody as well. I think he's the other one who will never lose focus of that, having that story coming out of everything. But And I think that's where Jimmy does come in, Ben. It's just using that to the way to tell the story of he is turning into Roman. So you need Jimmy, who was always by Roman's side, doing this as well. And he's always been the one saying, if you ever do win the title, you're gonna turn into him, etc. Have this power. So I'm all for it. No matter, you know me, and I'm not just because they're saving up anything. It is still interesting to me, this, so I'll always be into that. But the LA Knight stuff's a little side mission, because
where's that going, you think?
But you've got to use LA Knight because, once again, whether people don't like him or not, he has, and I've always stuck up for LA Knight. And when he was 7 or 8 big baby faces, he still fucking held his level up and was always
in 2023, over. It was great, wasn't it?
So you can still, he's over enough as a face that you can. For even Jey Uso, you can go, oh, why is he doing that to him? He's a beloved face type thing. So I get that why they're using him in this, even though the matches will not be amazing. So, but I can see it. I can still see it with Jey. Yeah.
In about 18 months, they'll do the $4 million man, and it'll turn out that LA Knight was actually the baddie. We'll be on like the third incarnation of this feud. The Usos will have had a year's worth of throwaway tags on SmackDown, but Hunter will remember, and we'll be back.
Yeah,
maybe we'll get there. But yeah, not big nor nothing for me, but it doesn't surprise me. You got more out of it than I did. The next match, I don't want to be like typecast myself. Stephanie McMahon and Io Sky. And the easy narrative here is this match saved the show. Did it? It was all right, wasn't it?
It was a letdown. Okay. I expected more. No, I think that's been...
I was getting pelters, because my favourite talking point... no, not really, but my favourite talking point last week was there's nothing on this WWE show that's going to be better than on this AEW show. It then turned out that, everyone in Toronto fell asleep, and half of the matches had no crowd reaction on the show, so there were some contenders on the AEW show, to be fair. But it's still fucking close, because this was on, absolutely, on the massively lower end of what it could be. This is just wrestling these days, though, isn't it? Like a hot finishing stretch. Like, it'll come for Brennan, won't it? It'll just make people go, oh, yeah, it's great, that match, wasn't it? Just like the 15 minutes before it. Oh, yeah, it's an unbelievable finish. Like, and it looks great as well, doesn't it? It's fucking, you're kind of looking at it going, what direction is she going there? Like, the spiral tap moonsault thing. Like, it's great, but that's all. I think that's all people are remembering, because I don't think the work was there. Tell me what I'm missing with this one, but no, I didn't think it was up to much, really. And it was just only the rest of the card that made it look any good.
I think it was solid enough, Ben, but we had, and as you say, everyone did, our Discord, as you say, you're getting the pelters. Like, there was very much high expectations, like match of the year stuff in contention. Like, that's what it was going in. The buzz was there for it, Ben. It just was a disappointment. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. And I think everyone thought, right, especially for the vacant title on a big fair show on ESPN, go out there and fucking knock it out the park. And they didn't deliver amazingly, did they? But it was good, but I don't know, maybe the face versus face dynamic, Ben. You can't, well, once again, you're going to tell me any match can tell a story, can't they? But, but it's
life's a story, mate.
Life's a story, yeah.
It's a story.
But, yeah, ultimately, it was a letdown while still being good. That's all I can say about it, Ben, really.
Did you have it again to go grapple Gareth on it? I thought Io Sky's selling was pretty good. That's it. Stephanie McMahon's offense obviously is massively over, but
yeah. I think once again they could well do better. They could easily well do better. I don't know what it was, but yeah, Io, like this Asuka storyline, like I haven't been on here to talk about it. Is it amazing the way people are going on? Like, is it
the big turn at the end of Raw? Gigantic.
That you could see. Don't get me wrong, wrestling is predictable overall, and I love Russo for the unpredictability. Don't get me wrong, but
needs a bit of Russo this WWE, doesn't it?
Needs an agent it does. It does. How amazing it does. Give you something like that at the minute, but like you could see that coming for weeks. But usually Triple H will throw like a Kyrie in there. Like Kyrie's been like cowering. And not, but like he'd throw something in to be fair to him. Hopefully, we do get something with her, and she doesn't just align with Asuka. We'll see how it goes, but I don't know, Ben. Don't know. Not loving this this storyline, to be honest.
I think you can be predictable and it could be fine, but you can't be predictable and this slow to get to the points that everyone knows are coming.
True.
Like there's one thing to go, I think I know this is finishing tonight. It's another thing to go, I know what's going to happen in 3 months. Like because it takes us that long to get there, doesn't it? And that's kind of this match for me, really. We did actually do star ratings last night on it on all. Maybe that's a YouTube video. Maybe we could throw that out there. Like star rating wise for this one, I honestly I wouldn't go higher than 3. And you know maybe, what we would be a grade on a curve, mate, 3.75. So fucking
3.25, Ben, 3.5, maybe because
did it?
Yeah, no, it didn't. It didn't, because I was waiting for it, because I thought, we're watching the wrestling at the start, and the dragon screws, etc., playing into it.
Yeah.
But they
Again,
looked,
Sella was
especially
good off
the
that.
second one looked more rough than the first ones. I appreciated that, and the
We
finish.
moved on from that quite quickly, though.
That's what I mean. I was waiting for it to just proper kick on from these spots, and it just didn't come really for me. So, yeah, disappointing, I'd say.
On from there, AJ Lee and CM Punk versus
Listen,
Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
I'll be honest, Ben. I said that on my video, and I've sat on even more. I did like this. I know you're
doing
the
windmill for audio listeners.
But when people put it in our chat, I thought, AJ's had a nightmare here, and she didn't. Come on, it was a few fucking.
Know what it was? What it was, mate? I've been waiting to say this line. I feel like the handshake meme, like AJ Lee haters should be on this side, AJ lovers should be on this side, and they should all agree AJ Lee was every bit as good as she used to be. I think let's just all agree on that. Like, this is what she always was. I'm not saying she's the worst wrestler in the world, but she's not great either, is she? Like, she is clunky. She is. I mean, so's her husband, but she is weird, and some of that offense was weird, and some of it, yeah, she looked gassed, and some of it, like, you could see like the emotion, like the bit where they did like the knee in the corner and then the double bulldogs, and it was just she was like Kota Ibushi second behind that, like you could tell she's just not up to it yet, and that's fine. I think you can absolutely forgive that, like it's like seeing Eddie Kingston come back, like you kind of accept that, especially with her. What we're talking a decade, aren't we, away?
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't surprised by how she looked, because I think she always looked like this, just slightly more gassed and slightly more like she needs reps. But I think there's got to be agreement from both sides. Like, both things could be true.
Yeah, no, this was the match of the night for me. Whether I thought, I know the runtime put people off. It did.
It was overwrought and too long. It really was.
No,
there was a 10-minute shorter version of this. That could have been
as I said on the reaction, you could have knocked 4 or 5 minutes. Of course you could have, of course. But I still, for what it was, as you say, for someone who wasn't in there for 10 years, for someone not as mobile as Punk, and people like Seth and Becky being that heel unit that people, really dislike, and we're buying into that. You're not meant to like them, you know what I mean? But, and I'm no Seth Rollins defender by any means. I'm not, or Becky Lynch. Don't get me wrong. Don't quote me on that. But for who was in there and what it was, I had a good time watching it, Ben. Jamie, from a laid out point of view, you kept AJ out there, old school heel stuff for about 10 minutes. Got her shine coming in.
Making you wait for her to get in was smart. Like they told the whole story in those 10 minutes again. Maybe not a good story, but a story before they got to that point. I was going to say that, yeah.
And then there was a couple, obviously the botch aside, or whatever you want to call it, but I did dig that where she jumped off Seth with the tornado DDT, then the assisted sliced bread. I love them two spots. They really did surprise
that sliced bread one. Like, I was worried for her. Like, the way she landed, it was like, someone who's right back landing that close to the rope. Even Punk looked. You could see like it was kind of cute, to be honest, seeing Punk like go, "You're nice," and she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Just like one of those moments.
And I did get a kick out of some of Becky and Seth's heel stuff in there. It was old school for me, Ben. And Punk is old school, isn't he? At his heart, like, he loves it, telling you he's the last dying territory.
Yeah, remember when Terry Funk was doing this?
Yeah, when he's not, like, you know what I mean? But I did, and then I like the finish as well, where obviously AJ taps Becky out, which will lead to the match in singles. So for me, the layout. What are you going on?
We can't skip ahead
all
to
right,
without talking about the sharpshooters and the. As a retro man, mate, I'm sorry, that should knock 2 stars off this. How does CM Punk not know how to put a sharpshooter on? What are we doing?
But you know what
it might have been, actually. It might not have been. It might have been literally Seth's too big for him. Seth's legs were too big for him. Like, he just couldn't get hold of it. It was like Dwayne-esque. It was horrendous.
But honestly, like, outside of Brett and Owen and Sting, like, people find it hard to put it on. Like, I can do a good one in the playground, or
same,
school, or I can do one to you now, and it'd be perfect. Ben, genuinely would be.
Figure 4, like, nail that too, mate. Texas Cloverleaf, another easy one. Like, these are all ones, you do it, wouldn't you? Like, no problem.
And he's like,
you kind of get the feel to it, yeah.
Even like I was saying back in school, like, I was like locking that on all the time.
You got to cross the legs, and then your own arm goes round.
Your one arm goes round, and you hook the one leg so it falls in between.
I can literally motion myself doing it now. It's like muscle memory. Like, why is Punk not got that muscle memory?
And how many wrestlers have you seen that can't do it? Like The Rock and anyone else who just struggle to even cross the legs. It's mad. it's madness. But
They wanted that moment though, didn't he, where he was doing that and AJ's doing a submission, and at that moment, like, I did. To be honest, I actually didn't hate it as much as other people did. Definitely didn't like it as much as you. Yeah. Like, I think it was too long. It was overwrought. It was over dramatic, if that is a word, but it was still dramatic. There still was some substance to it, and I think they played their card well, which was the AJ card. People waiting for it to get in, people wanting to see it get the big win, and it felt cathartic. Like, it did at the end of the day do its job. It was just a very fucking long day.
But also as well, like, if AJ signed the multi-year deal, which is she's going to be like full-time, I'm guessing, or like near to full-time, like Punky has a few weeks off here and there, doesn't he? I just want to see how that dynamic works, because they're always going to be associated on telly, aren't they? And obviously they're not going to do
at some point they've got to separate them off, I think.
That's what I mean. Is it different brands, or are they always going to be together at this point? And what story we're going to get out of that, like in Punk's next feud? Because we're flip-flopping again, Ben, but once we get, like, if I'm trying to think of a match for Mania that's obviously not being built now, because we've said that with Triple H, if you're just plucking one from thin air, like, you want to see Punk and Cody, don't you? You do. You want to see that match. That's a WrestleMania worthy main event.
I mean, I'm going to be saying that. Fast forward to me on the Punk show on Monday, mate. That's what I'm going to be saying. You want to see fucking Punk and Cody? Where is it?
And we had that couple of mic battles in WWE. They were great before the Rumble, weren't they? They were really fucking good.
It's like that story came out last week, didn't it? Like, I'm sure, like, this is not exact, but it was like, they thought they could have on their hands when they brought Andrade in, they could have another, like the way they stole Punk, like the way they brought Cody, it could be another win. I mean, it's Andrade, and it's Cody and Punk. But you know what they could have? They could just do Punk versus Cody there. If you want to get one up on Tony Khan, do the match that somehow you're allowed to slip through his fingers. There you go. It's right there. You can't, and like Tony Khan learned the lesson, hopefully, at some point. You can't wait forever, can you? Forever is finite, I suppose, in wrestling, and you never know what might happen. Injuries happen, who knows what might happen with Punk over the next couple of years if they don't keep him happy. I say that this CM Punk will just grin and bear it, won't I? I think he'll always be happy. But there's no guarantee that in 3 years you can get to it and it'll mean as much. Do it now.
As I'm thinking it, 3 matches, I'm plucking them out of my head now, and I'm actually doing all right here.
You're applying for the job here?
Yeah, Cody and Punk will happen, right? You don't like this one, but I think it will happen, and I'll be banging into it. Roman and Seth will happen. And, Ben, the only one I can think of here...
I want to see Roman versus Becky.
For Brock Lesnar, I think we'll get him and Gunther. And I'm calling it now. Gunther's lost at the last 2 WrestleManias. This will be Gunther's... Like, he retired Goldberg. They'll make Lesnar this unstoppable monster, and you'll get a Gunther who's a tweener/face, and he'll be the one to take Lesnar down. There's my prediction for you.
That is literally the only interesting match for me with Lesnar. Like, I still don't think I'd be interested in it because Lesnar being Lesnar, but I was thinking that watching the Cena match. What's the point in this? What could they even be setting up?
Gunther's the only one anyway.
Yeah. But isn't Gunther ready to come back? Couldn't he have come out at the pay-per-view? Like, if we're doing that, I don't know, we're putting ideas in their head. Like, maybe they're not even planning on doing this. But if they are planning on doing this, fuck it. Plant the seeds now. Do something. Give your fucking ESPN overlords a big moment. Like, at least like a positive headline out of the fucking show. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I'm glad you didn't hate the match, Ben. I'm glad you didn't.
No, I didn't. I thought, like, the intergender stuff, they did well. Like, I think it was the threat of Seth, picking up AJ and then it being reversed into the
and even sweeping AJ, Seth sweeping it on the ropes. That was fine. You know what I mean?
They were careful with it, but it did drive the emotion of the matchup, and it was, like say, the Becky and Punk has been a big part of the build to this, hasn't it? Well, I didn't love it first week, but I've kind of come around on it a little bit. So there were positives there, but I think the criticisms are fair too. Up next,
I know what you want to talk about the most on editing. Ben, of the whole weekend, even including AEW, you want to speak on this the most.
I watched it again tonight.
This is me, Ben, saying, sorry, this is you with it, what you say about the you said even on what last show was it where you're like you love the news coming out of wrestling. This epitomizes you to me, this story.
And I love having to go with the Undertaker because he'd turn up to the opening of a packet of crisps, wouldn't he, if there was a tenner in him? If they used to get prizes and crisps, or there was wasn't the one where you could get a fiver? Like a literal crisp fiver. What was that from? What was the packet of crisps you get?
Walkers, it was Walkers. I can't remember the promotion.
What a world we used to live in. You wouldn't get away with that now, would you? Because there'd be a hygiene reason why you can't put dirty fucking money in people's crisps. Yeah. You claim it a lie. World's fucking gone in it, mate. They were the days.
Oh,
Physical crisps, physical cash in your crisps. Like, but yeah, Undertaker's just like, he's so pathetic. And like, I saw the Twitter clip. That's what me and Gareth were talking about last night. Because I keep almost saying Steph got on to me last night. And she was like, how did you not ring me immediately when you saw this to talk about it? I didn't know you'd seen it. And like, I'd only seen the clip. So today was me seeing the full thing. And like, it was even worse, man. It was just like fucking Grandad coming out on his fucking motorbike to his racist Grandad song from Kid Rock, like coming out and fucking doing the little eyeball with Stephanie. I hadn't seen that bit where he's like, she's trying to pretend she doesn't know what he's up to, and he's trying to like play
that
casual.
was bad. Yeah,
like awful stuff. Then he gets to the mic. Then he's fucking having to climb over the fucking guardrail to get out there on his knobbly knees. Like, was that like practical joke? Was it literally we'll dangle a tenner over the fucking guardrail and see if he'll climb over? And look, there's Mark climbing over. And then he's like, because he's not a natural, maybe he got into his head, like, oh, your podcast's doing brilliant, mate. And obviously, your wife, what a co-host she is on that thing. No, she's fucking not. Even, have you ever watched
I haven't watched it since, Benno. It shouldn't have changed. I haven't watched it since.
If you go on the YouTube, though, and you see any of their clips, like, I just look at it for amusement at this point. You go to the comment section. You should never go to the comment section, but it's worth it in this regard. Every single comment will be someone saying some variation of, get rid of your fucking wife off this show. Why is she here? What's she doing? No. And I don't think it's a sexist thing either. I just think she's rubbish. And I think it'd be the same reverse. I used to say that, like, you know, you have mates who do that. You know, you invite them out for a drink and they bring, you know, it's like girls' night out. And you're female, you know, and you bunch of girls, and one of them brings the boyfriend, and it's all a bit like, why is he here? Same like for the lads, you have a lads' night out, and you've always got that one mate who's like, I'm on my way, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Sorry, I'm running 5 minutes late. It's always I, and then he walks in the door, and it's that person you can't hate that's with him, partner, male or female, whoever it might be. These things happen in life. That's exactly what Undertaker's doing on that show right now. It's fucking appalling. But anyways, back to the point. Like, is he just literally just like? Have they convinced them? Oh, you're a great talker on your podcast, mate. So yeah, just sit out there, do a little mini podcast with Stephanie. I'm surprised this fucking Mrs. Undertaker was sat next to him as he tried to like joke his way in and like worm his way over, and like even you could tell he got desperate when he started mentioning he did the hometown cheap pop, didn't he? Because you could feel him dying on his feet before, like, again, even got his words wrong. He said he was inducting her into the WWE Hall of Fame. No, he's not. Like that's not what's happening here. Yeah. He's announcing her, and then just the. She's trying to force tears, and maybe it was emotional for her. She was crying at the end when was that Nick Khan's son that ran over to her, or whoever it was at the end. And there was, I'm not cold-hearted bastard, mate. You know, I could be when it comes to that family, but for whatever perverse reason, it seemed to mean a lot to her by the end of it. But the way they went about it was so cringe. It even felt like even Undertaker doing the "Are you ready?" thing. Oh, I've always wanted to do that.
Was bad. That was
no,
bad.
You fucking haven't. Like that felt for me. That felt like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's Hunter who sent me out here. In which case, just fucking send Hunter out there. You might as well. You might as well. All over everything else. He was on NXT last week. He's another one. He'll come to the opener of Pack of the Crisp. Just send him out to induct his wife. Like, do a nice video with them backstage or something if you have to do it. It was just a bad use of everybody, wasn't it? And just fucking hell, Stephanie going into the Hall of Fame. And I don't know if you hear me. I was half defending her last night that she has got. If you're talking WWE Hall of Fame, you're not talking matches, are you? You're talking moments. You're talking importance to the stories they told on telly, and obviously importance to backstage. And maybe part of it is like there's been points, hasn't there, over the last couple of years, people have tried to babyface her. People have tried to say, well, Ed and Triple H didn't vote when they were bringing Vince back, and tried to say that, like, you know, she took some kind of moral stand against Vince. Clearly, there was a point where she did leave, didn't she? WWE,
yeah, she
and
did.
She is back here, and yeah, exactly. So there is at least that. You know, there is at least that, and. It'd be fine if that was it, though, because the only problem is, I'm sure if JPA was here, he'd say it's all going to be a backdoor way to do more thank you, Vince fan chants.
Said it on my reaction, Ben. Yeah, 100%. Like, breaking a lot down there, but first and foremost, if we're talking, it's all right. No,
it's the most I'm into anything on the show.
I'll be the same. I know it is. I can tell, and I'm glad. But we'll start with Taker first. We'll go in order. I genuinely do. Like, I'm gutted that format change, because whether people, once again, he's a polarizing figure, Undertaker, in real life and in the wrestling fandom. I think he was boss on that podcast, like, because you didn't hear of him for years as well, and now you can't shut him up, don't get me wrong. But even at that One Man Dead show, Benno, he is actually quite funny, and he'll take the piss out of himself. He genuinely will, and you wouldn't think that of him. You really wouldn't. And he was great with that co-host on the original setup of that podcast. Now it is just like a big knees up. It's changed in that regard, and it's not good. And I'll always be a fan of Taker. I get it, but he was He wasn't great again. It was just, I don't like seeing him as this normal fella. Even when he's biker taker, he had a bit of something about. I just don't like seeing him being.
You can tell that's his
in
line
that
in the sand,
regard.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Give me Kid Rock or Limp Bizkit, and I'll pretend to be a normal bloke.
But on a
Like, that's the
podcast, I
line.
get it, you know, and there's that, and he's telling the stories, and that's a different setting. But like I say on here, just coming out being that mascot, the Undertaker, you know what I mean? And I get it is for a big thing. And moving on to Stephanie, you know, once again, it's not even a debate if she should go in if we're just talking characters in WWE history. Of course she should. It's a non-starter for me. No one should ever argue that if we're talking about on-screen.
People will.
Why? There's no argument.
Good matches like Gail Kim.
It's not. Fuck's sake. There's wrestlers that and characters in wrestling that, you know.
I mean, the keys are
Paul
the wrestling, but anyway.
Yeah, but Paul Heyman, any non-manager then shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Come on.
I mean, again, I agree with you there. Like, look, what's the standard here when it's to the Hall of Fame?
Exactly. God bless him. But if the Godfather's in the Hall of Fame, then Stephanie McMahon should be in the Hall of Fame. If fucking Coco Beware's in the Hall of Fame, if fucking Pete Rose, if anyone's in the Hall of
Coco
Fame,
Beware.
do you know what I mean? Who else is there? I'm trying to think of someone lower down.
You name a lot of celebrities, but anyway, no, you don't. No, you're right. No,
you know what I mean.
Under the auspices of what WWE is and what this Hall of Fame is,
yeah,
fair enough.
Totally.
It's just the back door of
but like I said, that's what this is. Like, and I know Triple H went in and it was all about him showing the face last year, and he mentioned Vince. Of course, Stephanie's going to mention him. Of course she is, and that's going to be another test run of how it goes and what a reaction he gets. And would it shock you if he turned up at that induction? Because it wouldn't shock me at this point. That would not shock me. His daughter going in, they tested it last year. Oh my
God, he inducts her.
I don't think they go that far. But as like no, they won't. No, they won't. They won't. The only thing I can see them doing is just as she's about to go off, he'll walk out, and it might go off the air, and they might show him speaking, but you might just see him come on the stage. That could happen, Benno. Do you think it mightn't though? If we're being serious,
there's a chance of it. There is. We don't know, but we don't know the inner workings of it. Like the only talk on a podcast, the only glint of a human being you see is like when she was interviewing Nick Khan. It was like, there's some things we obviously can't talk about here, and it's like, talk about them. I want to know what you actually think, because she might actually hate his guts, or she might have complex feelings about him. Like it's, I know what we all think of Stephanie McMahon, but it is possible that she does have complex feelings about it. Like, he's my dad, but you know, like the daughter or son of a fucking murderer would have. You know, it's still your dad. At the end of the day, I've always made that point on here, haven't I? You know, your best mate went to prison for his life. You'd probably still visit him, wouldn't you? Like, depending on who it was and what they did. So yeah, people make their own lines in the sound, but we don't know what her line is really. So yeah, it's not impossible. I agree. But
back to Undertaker, Ben. You want to see him next week coming out fucking hosting Raw, don't you? Fucking hosting NXT.
I mean, do you actually believe? I don't know. We don't really have any evidence for this, but like, just from what you hear him talk about and how you see him, do you actually think he's good at this job? Like, this creative job he's got with AAA, or like he's got like, you know, he clearly wants something off us with WWE. They're clearly trying to work him into that Shawn Triple H kind of mold.
He's there now. He's always there.
Do you actually believe though? Like, he's got good advice to give. Maybe he's got good advice to give certain wrestlers, but you know what I mean? Has he got the wrestling IQ to do this job? I know he's the Undertaker, but you know, same in football, isn't it? Not every great footballer is a great manager. Like, and a lot of the great managers weren't great footballers. Like, that's I feel like that's something you can carry across the Undertaker, just based on the limited things we do know. I just can't see him. I can't see him having good ideas for other people.
What we know about him, like as you say, the limited things, and you learn more, and it is all the same stuff about old school and protecting your character.
What worked in the 90s.
That's what I mean. It's all that, but he must be like you know me. He's in my top 5. I love Undertaker. Ben, I fucking do. I think he's fucking great, but as a wrestler and character, of course, but. I don't know. You're right there, but do you know what he's actually doing? It's only AAA that you know he's actually the biggest creative.
But that's what he's doing that for a reason, isn't he? He's doing that.
Yeah, it's like see if he
can, giving Shawn NXT, you know?
Yeah. But you know, I'd have him around, of course, but I just don't like seeing him being this mascot. You know what I mean? It's the Undertaker to me at the end of the day. You know
what I'm gutted about? That NXT UK doesn't still exist. I never thought I'd say that sentence. He'd be there with me. He'd be fucking advising Gallus. He'd be fucking telling no one down
pitching up in fucking Sheffield or somewhere, setting up home in Sheffield.
Blackpool.
He was in Nando's, really. He got pictured in Nando's. He's loving it.
That's what we needed in life. We were so close to it and we didn't get it. What a shame. Oh, well. Anyway, there we go. That's the most important segment on the show. On to the main events. I guess we already kind of covered it, Cody and Drew. Like, this was such a big nothing. This was, again, to use the analogy again, this was your Kyle Fletcher Hangman Page match where there was no, I guess there was no doubt. It felt like there was no doubt, but it could have turned out there really was doubt if they had any bollocks. But it felt like there was no doubt. It felt like nobody in the crowd believed Drew would win, and I just don't think they gave you a good enough match to compensate for that in the way Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Page did. It was just a SmackDown main event. Like, it's the lowest I've been on a big Cody match. It's the most I've thought. Maybe that could be a change you could do. Maybe Cody could move on to something else. Maybe they are a little bit out of ideas with Cody. And again, the news kind of doubled down on that because just a big load of nothing. This main event this felt like a Bashing in Berlin level main event. We always bring that one up as a show which we had to review at one point. And this was their ESPN debut, and this was the main event.
That's what I mean. I suppose because you did, Lesnar and Cena, what we said, it was a waste of time. But on paper, they're like your two big stars. But they obviously went with that first to counter program AEW, didn't they? Because they knew they'd still be running. So I would have put the mixed tag on last, Ben. That had the most traction. That had the most, TV time dedicated to it over the whole build.
You know what, yeah.
That should have went on last. And
might have been more forgivable, Yeah, you might as well just skip past this and go, well, whatever.
And you still got your big good feel ending at the end with AJ coming back after 10 years and then winning. That would have been fine. But obviously, Triple H did want the visual because Cody's this guy of Cody Rhodes as this is the face of the company holding the championship up.
He says that. He said if he came back to wrestle, he'd work Roman Reigns, mate. I thought you'd be all over that story. Also, and burying Bill as well.
Yeah.
And, what's he called from ESPN? What's his name? The big
Stephen A. Smith. I've seen that. Stephen A. Smith, number one, didn't he? Yeah.
He's the one wrestler of all time. You could tell Triple H hated it. He hated it. Like Brett hates anyone saying nice about Triple H. You could feel the real Paul coming out there.
It was, but it was. I think it was a bit short. It felt short to me. It just felt that they went into the bomb straight away. Like I said in my thing, I like Drew and Cody in them type of matches, hitting your big moves. I thought it was still sound, Ben, for what it was. I get what you're saying about them not having that big feel. I get that because the build wasn't great because Cody wasn't there for most of it as well. But I did like what they give us with the sprinty type match and the call back to the angle where Drew missed it this time and put his foot through the table. I did enjoy that.
Dangerous moving.
Tailor-made for me, isn't it? I love anything like that. So that was good stuff. And it was a clean win for Cody. Really was a clean win. And yeah, it was, Ben. It was, once again, underwhelming, I would say, overall, because these two could do a hell of a lot better as well.
It felt like watching the Drew McIntyre that I think Garrett sees every time he sees him, to me. In that, like, it's all presentation's great. Like, the promo, I think, were pretty good in the lead up to the match. The way he carries himself was great. He's hard hitting, it looked like he was literally going for Cody's head at points in this match and stuff like that. But there's just something below it that just feels a bit meaningless in that, like, and what? It's still Drew McIntyre and he's still not going over. He'll just never escape that. Like, he'll never escape it.
And that's his story they're trying to tell, of course, with him always getting screwed or miscarriage with refs and Punk and Bloodline. So I like that aspect. I was watching that coming to ring thinking you can't always throw Drew in there as a one-off because he's got that behind him kind of thing, that he's that serial. Like,
his selling was good. Limerick was good. I enjoyed that from Cody.
But with Cody, once you get this Seth out the way, which I'm guessing to one and done because it's for the crown jewel, as we said before, you've got to be giving Orton as your winter program. He had the Kevin Owens winter program last year, didn't he? You've got to be giving that to him. It's not going to be Mania, and then we've got to be getting into there with Punk. Like, we can't just be filling time for 3 more months till we get to Punk or Orton or Jey Uso at WrestleMania. We need something in between here. We do.
I think they just thought the idea was more compelling than it was.
Yeah.
Cody's selling, his head, or selling the fact that he's, just coming back here. He's got to fight up and he's got to win. I don't think people are as invested in that as they thought they were. And I wasn't watching it. And it didn't feel like the live crowd were either. It just felt very paid by numbers. Like, again, 3 1/4, maybe a push. Maybe not even that high.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say 3 1/4, Ben. Yeah, and that's pretty much. Once again, Ben, I think I'm morphing into you. You're the Frankenstein monster creating me, mate. I'm turning to 3.5, 3.25 Benno here. Fucking hell, love it. But yeah,
anything else on the show?
Just
anything else coming out of Raw?
Like, as I said about the show, on the show, it was, considering it was this big build of your first show on ESPN, it was a letdown. Like, I still enjoyed. Like, I love the mixed tag. I did get a kick out the main event still the Usos and the Jay stuff, even though there wasn't enough for me. The first match was a waste of time. The women's match was a disappointment. I still will give it the slight thumbs up, like I said, on my reaction overall, but it was very underwhelming overall. Didn't get no story, nothing coming out of it. was a bit flat in parts for as much as I enjoyed it. There was just, I keep saying, Ben, that oomph, that spark, that creativity just isn't there at the minute. And that's what I always need, mate. You know that. I always need that, whether you and the lads and anyone else like disagrees with me or not. I need that in me wrestling, and I'm not getting it at the minute.
That's it. Anything more on Raw?
I'd say more bullish coming out of Raw with the stuff we talked about before. The Jay stuff took a better turn for me. Cody and Seth, even though it's a one-off, I'm into that with the built-in story. What was the other one we talked about? Cena and AJ, yeah. Like, as a one-off, once again, that should happen at this point, because what else can you do? And that will be nostalgic, and, you know, it's letting them do something as well, which is fine. So you're getting stuff like that coming out of it. And then we'll wait to see what happens on SmackDown, see what Cody does next. Like, so, as I say, Ben, the fish hook's always there. I'm just begging. And don't get me wrong, there'll be that one episode when I'm on here, lad, and I'm fucking beaming again, and they'll do something that I'm like, come on. But I'm still waiting for that at the minute. As I say, them two words, the oomph and the spark, they need to be just lit. Hopefully around, you know, as if bonfire night, then that spark can be lit on there, and the fireworks can happen once again, mate.
Well, to go through some of that news before we get out of here, as you say,
yeah.
AJ Styles apparently accepted John Cena's challenge. Try to not doing it on Threads, mate. That's where
he's
all
gone on better else to do, has he? So of course he's
honestly, that's another story they kind of half told, wasn't it? Oh, AJ Styles is mad at the creative, is he?
Yeah.
All right. He's calling out Gallows and Anderson in the
How
outrage.
bad was that? See, it's all that, Ben. It's like these old ideas. It's like rehashing. It's like, are we meant to get invested in that when it was in the middle of a fucking outbreak, and he's mentioning the club of all fucking people? Who's asked? Who's asked about the club in this day and age?
You didn't ask when they were there, mate. The 2 times or 3 times or whatever.
3 times?
4, wasn't it? Respect them, though. They had their
AW,
they were show this week.
They were with Kenny when he used the belt collector and all that. Like, the nuts, aren't they? They're just always there.
Still a talking shop fan, mate. Yeah, Joe from WrestlePalooza and all that we had there on Joe.
Oh, yeah, seen the picture. Yeah,
he was on. He was literally on it. I was like, oh, that's dream stuff come true.
That's great. Like, just don't want to see them on WWE telly. Is my point.
Absolutely not. Another quick news story I want to get into. Sorry, WrestlePalooza logo getting in the way there. WrestleMania 42, 2-day tickets are up, mate. So obviously, yeah, you know, get saving, mate. I did send you over some grapple money today, so hopefully that helps. As Section A1 on the floor is at $9,000.
That's towards it.
On the floor, $4,000. Well, I mean, we'll go down the realistic sections, the one the real people kind of live at, the 100 level. No, $1,500 for a ticket. 200 level, grand 300, so not much discount there. You might as well go for the 100 level. 300 and 400, mate. $1,174 of the tickets for the 300 section, and the 400. So again, the fucking top of the arena, $854.15. What is going on there, mate? You paying that? Like, I know you too well, mate. You're not paying that. Like, not this year. You're not that invested.
Done it last year, and it weren't that much, Ben. Like, me 2 tickets just come to, you know, just over the bottom tier there, and that was fine. And they were great seats. They were, and Platt himself on the day got great seats behind us in our section for a little bit less. But it's one of them, Ben. I'm in a double-edged sword again, because I'm 100% going to Vegas because the flight's booked. But it's one of them. I might have to literally wait till last minute and hoping if I can't get one or they haven't gone down by then, because I can't see them selling like even 50,000 like last year at them prices. Surely not, because they're like way more than last year. And they only got 50,000 in it, like a 60, 70,000 stadium. But they look full, don't get me wrong. Maybe they're setting in that. But I might have to play it last minute like you, Ben. Or might have to just go one night and go watch it in a bar somewhere the second night. But, you know, I'll probably be in the... I'll be in the building. Let's not get this twisted, actually. I'll be in the building both nights. It's just how I get there.
I know people who've done that. Like, a couple of mates who were really into UFC at one point would do that, would go to Vegas for the big weekends. If they couldn't get a ticket, they'd happily... I could name you some bars, actually, they used to go to, and they'd just go sit in the bar. And that was good the time, to be honest, yeah.
Get there Friday night, so that's a writ off. Literally only there for the Saturday and Sunday, so we'll have to see what happens. But hopefully I'll get tickets, and they've got to bring them down, Ben. Especially, I can't see them hitting... They might hit like 25, 30 foul on initial thing, but I think that'll stall for a bit, mate, because who's paying that? Like, genuinely at this? Like... The buzz isn't there. Is it there to the casual? I don't know. That's me. We're in the bubble, and you know, me especially. They're going to
hit the head on that ceiling if they've not hit it already.
The buzz isn't there for it to me to justify that price. If it was 2 years ago, even you go, all right, but it's buzzing, it's hot, it's this, that, and the other. It's not there at the minute.
Absolutely not. Yeah, the only other quick news stories we're going to mention. William Regal turned up in Noah. I can't imagine JP had more to say about that than you. Andrade turned up at House of Glory. Good to see him getting work. And yeah, unless you've got hot takes on Masa Kitamiya winning Noah's M1, maybe I'll cover that with JP going.
I'll save that
you
for
might have hot
JP.
takes on but apparently Mickey James is going to the TNA Hall of Fame. You'll be doing that Bound for Glory spotlight with JP. That's also Crown Jewel weekend, that one. So I don't know. We might have a competitor here for biggest show weekend of wrestling this year coming up. So I'll look forward to your takes on that there.
No, I always end up doing Bound for Glory. It's always good with JP getting on for a bit of TNA, but yeah, Mickey James deserve TNA hardcore country. Obviously, the standout for me in the TNA stuff, but just legendary wrestler to me. I'm a big fan and deservedly going in there. But anything else there, Andrade? I mean, no, that's just where can anyone go anymore? It's just one of them things, isn't it, Ben? But JP
apparently they work at some point.
You did, yeah. They've seen them going at it on X, going back and forth there, and you always he plays them lines. Obviously, great MJF, doesn't he? Because you think even if he's playing that character, I think he means some of that stuff he says on fucking Twitter. Definitely does.
Massive.
But JP, if any stories as a foursome there are made for anyone in life, them four are made for John Paul. So let him talk about all that on a weekend show.
That's it. We'll have JP back. It could be a live. It could be a weekend
show.
Oh,
the live, okay.
It could be a weekend spotlight live. Who knows? We threw a lot of shows out this week, so we'll be skipping at least one of those. I'm just warning people now, but we'll have JP on hopefully before the end of the week. And yeah, the I'm finally story I was going to throw in there, mate, before we get out of here. It's just good to see it getting picked up now by news outlets. The story I mentioned to Gareth, Bret Hart running down Paul Levesque as a phony during inside the ropes chat. I want to get your take on this. He says he never rated him. Everything he's done, everything he's created, it's all stuff he wrote out for himself. He wishes he could have sat back in 1992 and said, well, this is what I'm going to do for the next 10 years. I'm going to win every title. I'm going to be champion 55 times or 500 times. He says, I think Triple H is a phony, like in the sense that he never earned it. He never deserved it. He just married the boss's daughter. He was such a slam ball back in 1997. A guy I have very little respect for. But enough on everything you've said over the last hour or so. I'll bring up the Bret Hart quotes now, mate. See what Bret said about Triple H. Good to see Bret being Bret, mate.
It is the old 400 grand champ running his mouth, and I'm a big Bret fan, don't get me wrong, but is he, as even Kribby messaged me about that today, it's like, is he telling us stuff that we don't already know? Like he's dropping this bombshell for the Triple H haters, you know what I mean? It's like, of course,
It's just more the fact that like Triple H is so powerful now, but he's still doing it.
I think that's what it is, yeah. I think that's what it is, and especially after WrestleMania, where he on the stage where he fucking blanked them and that, I get that, but I don't know, Bret. I love him, don't get me wrong, and I'll always continue to do Bret show, but it's like, yeah, I don't know at the minute. I don't know.
I love him. He's biding his time for when you're in Triple H's position or somebody else takes over creative. Bret can see several moves ahead, but there we go. Can't think of a better way to close us out. This has been our WrestlePalooza review this week. Only thing left to do is to give some plugs, mate, if you want to let the people know what's going on. New Bret show coming out this weekend as well.
Yes. Speaking of Bret, and I do love him.
Can't wait for you to review Bret's match with... Oh, sorry, my internet's cutting out, mate. Can you just fill in? Bret's match with...
I thought you were going to say Bret's match with Triple H. That we could cover at this point.
Oh, that'd be a good segue.
We'll find out this weekend. But I will give a clue away. It might not be against Triple H, one of the matches, but it is against one of the members of the infamous clique that knocked about with Triple H. So that's a little teaser for you.
Coming up. Alden Montoya versus Bret Hart. Can't wait. Or could be Brad Bradford. Could be.
We are going to be recording that tomorrow night. So that's, I think, for the next 6 weeks plus the week just gone. But I think I might as well just put a pillar behind this chair and just stay here, mate, and just fucking be in front of the screen. But I love it.
The Iron Man in October,
no, it's all good, mate. It's all good. We got a lot coming up. We won't divert into it too much, Benno. Divert into it too much with October. But Bret show's coming up, as Benno said earlier on. We're just coming and ending Dealer's Choice next week with Benno's choice of CM Punk in AEW or One Bill Phil. You know, we had the Survivor Series show, the Wrestler show we done, Ric Flair in the 80s. We've had all that this month, so go check that out over on the Patreon, of course. And we've got loads coming up in October, Ben. Little, I say yourself.
Music month. Should we say? You know, could be
I was going to say, I've got a little idea. I was going to tell you off air about what we should call it, but it's I say you're away, aren't you, for a couple of weeks, mate? So we'll be having a few little fill-ins,
not for the listeners though.
Never for the listeners, Ben. You could never do that, of course. But
they'll be phoned in audio, don't worry.
yeah, there'll be good stuff. There'll be good stuff coming in there. But we will have a few little different shows for October that I think the patrons especially will really enjoy, and I can't wait to get into them myself.
There you go. Only way you can join with them, patreon.com/grapple or youtube.com/@grapple. And join in. We've got some cracking King of the Mountain choices coming up as well to look forward to. But yeah, Dealer's Choice Month closing soon, and then onwards to October. And then before you know it, mate, at the end of year season, we'll be doing the awards and all kinds.
Oh, I'm dreading this year. I'm dreading these awards this year, Ben. Like you usually have in the last.
It's like that year they did the sweep there, isn't it, mate? This is your reverse. This, so you better get all out in, mate, before we'll see what happens. But as always, we didn't do this one live tonight, but thank you to our patrons, thank you to our live patrons who are usually with us, and thank you to our kings and queens of the mountain, Coral Hoffman, Eddie Sarburns, Chris Platt, Carl Gack, Sophia Hitchcock, Sam Mulvaney, and Marty Ellis, whose show will have coming up soon. But yeah, on that note, good night. We'll see you on the next one.
Ta-da.
See ya.